Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. It seems the tension within the Washington Commanders has reached a boiling point, as reports surfaced that head coach Dan Quinn lost his temper in an explosive moment following a routine practice session. Sources close to the team reveal that Quinn, known for his fiery demeanor and high expectations, reportedly confronted quarterback Jayden Daniels in a manner that left several teammates and staff members visibly uncomfortable. According to insiders, the incident was triggered by what Quinn perceived as a lack of discipline and focus from Daniels, who has shown flashes of brilliance on the field but has struggled with consistency in practice. This confrontation, which some describe as unusually intense even for Quinn's standards, culminated in a dramatic declaration: "He's not playing with me anymore." The statement, reportedly directed at Daniels but overheard by multiple players and staff, has sent shockwaves through the locker room, raising questions about team chemistry and leadership. Observers note that such public displays of frustration, particularly from a head coach, can have lasting effects on morale and player confidence. Analysts are already speculating whether this will lead to immediate changes in the quarterback rotation, trade rumors, or even more drastic personnel moves, as Quinn's reputation for decisiveness is well documented. The timing of this incident, occurring just weeks before a critical stretch of the season, adds another layer of intrigue, suggesting that the Commanders may be entering a period of uncertainty and internal conflict that could redefine their trajectory. Sources familiar with the Commanders' inner workings describe the scene as chaotic, with players reportedly trying to defuse the situation while Quinn continued his verbal tirade. Witnesses recount that Daniels attempted to respond calmly, but Quinn allegedly refused to hear any excuses, emphasizing performance standards and accountability above all else. This confrontation, taking place in a high-stakes environment where each practice carries significant weight for upcoming games, underscores the pressure both coaches and players face at the professional level. The drama reportedly escalated to the point where multiple assistants intervened, not to mediate, but to prevent further escalation and ensure the session could continue without physical altercations. Observers highlight that while Quinn has been known for his fiery sideline presence during games, such direct confrontation with a starting quarterback is relatively rare, signaling a possible breaking point in their professional relationship. Rumors are now swirling throughout NFL circles, suggesting that Daniels' future with the Commanders may be in jeopardy, and that front office executives are already exploring contingency plans. Fans and media alike have begun speculating about potential trades or benching scenarios, with social media amplifying every whispered detail of the incident. The narrative unfolding around this conflict has quickly become a hot topic, raising debates over leadership styles, accountability, and whether Quinn's intense approach is a catalyst for success or a source of internal friction that could hinder the team's performance. Insiders hint that the tension between Quinn and Daniels may not be a sudden development, but rather the culmination of ongoing frustrations with the quarterback's adaptation to the team's offensive system. Sources indicate that Daniels, while talented and capable of dynamic plays, has occasionally struggled with decision-making under pressure, a factor that reportedly triggered Quinn's explosive reaction. Observers suggest that Quinn, who prides himself on discipline and execution, may have reached a point where patience was no longer an option, especially with upcoming games that could define playoff contention. The public nature of the confrontation, however, has ignited a firestorm of discussion among fans, analysts, and sports media, with opinions divided over whether Quinn's approach is a necessary tough love strategy or an overreaction that risks alienating key talent. There is speculation that this incident could have ripple effects beyond the locker room, influencing team culture, morale, and even the perception of Quinn's leadership by league executives. Analysts point out that the timing is critical, as any instability at the quarterback position could derail strategic plans, making the Commanders' next decisions all the more crucial. Rumors suggest that internal meetings may be underway to assess Daniels' status and evaluate whether alternative solutions, such as shifting the depth chart or exploring trades, could be implemented. The air around the Commanders is thick with anticipation, as fans await official statements while the story continues to evolve behind closed doors, leaving uncertainty and speculation to dominate headlines. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Reports indicate that some players have taken sides, either sympathizing with Daniels' position or aligning with Quinn's demand for strict discipline. Sources claim that this divide, while subtle, has begun affecting team dynamics, as locker room conversations reportedly hint at underlying tension. Analysts are noting that the Commanders' upcoming games will test whether the team can compartmentalize personal conflicts and maintain focus on execution, or whether internal disputes will manifest in performance lapses on the field. The broader NFL community is watching closely, with rival teams possibly seeing an opportunity to exploit any cracks in Washington's cohesion. Observers suggest that Quinn's history as a coach who emphasizes mental toughness and rigorous preparation could either solidify the team's resolve or exacerbate the discord, depending on how the situation is managed moving forward. Sources note that while verbal confrontations are not uncommon in professional sports, Quinn's explicit declaration that Daniels won't play with him anymore adds a level of finality that is rarely witnessed, creating dramatic speculation about the quarterback's tenure. Media outlets are now dissecting every available piece of information, attempting to predict whether this incident will lead to benching, a mid-season trade, or even a coaching shakeup. Rumors continue to swirl as insiders debate the implications, emphasizing that the story is far from resolved and that every statement, gesture, or social media post could tip the balance in this high-stakes drama. The narrative around Quinn and Daniels has quickly taken on a life of its own, with social media platforms exploding with fan theories, gifs of the altercation, and heated debates about coaching philosophy. Analysts highlight that this type of drama, while sensational, also raises larger questions about accountability, leadership, and player development within the NFL. Some commentators argue that Quinn's approach, though intense, is part of a pattern seen among successful coaches who push their players to extremes in order to achieve peak performance. Others counter that public displays of frustration risk eroding trust and creating a culture of fear, which can have long-term negative consequences for a team's performance and reputation. Rumors suggest that team management may be preparing a public statement or internal memo to clarify the situation, but for now, speculation dominates headlines, with every insider leak or unnamed source fueling further intrigue. Fans are eagerly dissecting the power dynamics at play, analyzing past games, practice habits, and even preseason interviews for clues. Sports podcasts and shows are dedicating entire segments to discussing potential outcomes, from Daniels being traded to Quinn facing pressure from ownership. The incident has effectively become a microcosm of broader debates in sports: discipline versus diplomacy, intensity versus empathy, and how far a coach can go in enforcing standards without damaging relationships. Every detail, real or rumored, is being scrutinized, making this one of the most talked about controversies of the season so far. Speculation is intensifying around the potential fallout, with rumors circulating that Quinn may take more drastic measures if the situation does not stabilize quickly. Insiders suggest that alternative strategies, such as adjusting the playbook to accommodate Daniels' style or temporarily shifting responsibilities, could be on the table, but nothing has been confirmed. Analysts note that Quinn's history shows a willingness to make bold decisions to maintain control and ensure team standards are met, meaning that fans should brace for further surprises. The timing of this conflict is particularly critical, as the Commanders are approaching a stretch of games that could define playoff eligibility, making decisions around quarterback play even more consequential. Social media reactions highlight the polarized opinions among fans, with some applauding Quinn's no-nonsense approach and others expressing concern for Daniels' development and confidence. Sources claim that discussions behind closed doors are ongoing, with team executives and coaching staff weighing the potential risks and benefits of various courses of action. The tension reportedly extends beyond just Daniels, as other players are observing the situation closely, aware that it could influence perceptions of leadership, accountability, and the overall culture within the organization. As the story continues to develop, the Commanders are positioned at the center of one of the NFL's most talked-about controversies, with each passing day adding new layers to a narrative that is equal parts drama, strategy, and speculation, keeping fans, analysts, and rivals on high alert. Insiders indicate that Quinn's statement regarding Daniels was more than a momentary outburst. It reflected accumulated frustration over repeated instances where expectations were not met during practice. Reports suggest that Quinn's approach, while harsh, is rooted in a desire to create a disciplined, high-performing team environment, though the immediate consequences appear volatile. Analysts are considering the long-term impact on Daniels' career, as a strained relationship with a head coach at this stage could influence playing time, trade value, and professional development. Social media reactions underscore the intense interest in the situation, with fans debating not only the merits of Quinn's approach, but also the potential repercussions for team morale. Sources claim that Quinn's inner circle is advising caution, emphasizing that while tough decisions are necessary, the optics and internal fallout must also be carefully managed. Speculation now includes potential trades, benching scenarios, and even a reassessment of coaching strategy if the tension escalates further. The incident has brought renewed focus on Quinn's leadership style, the pressures of NFL coaching, and the delicate balance between discipline and support. As the story unfolds, the league is watching closely, and the Commanders' next moves could set a precedent for how high-profile conflicts between coaches and quarterbacks are navigated, making this one of the most compelling storylines of the season. Reports suggest that the situation has also sparked conversations among other teams, as rival coaches and executives monitor the Commanders closely to gauge potential opportunities. Rumors hint at the possibility of trades or acquisitions influenced by Quinn's actions, as well as speculation about whether Daniels could thrive in a different environment if separated from the current tension. Analysts note that this incident reflects broader themes in professional sports, such as leadership styles, player management, and the impact of emotional intensity on team cohesion. Observers point out that Quinn's reputation as a disciplinarian might be tested as much by media scrutiny and fan reaction as by his own players, adding layers of complexity to his decisions moving forward. Some insiders claim that the Commanders' front office may already be formulating contingency plans to address potential fallout, including roster adjustments or strategic communications to manage public perception. The narrative is evolving rapidly, with new leaks, player comments, and unofficial statements continuously shaping public understanding. Fans are deeply engaged, speculating on social media about possible trades, benchings, or reconciliations, while analysts debate the long-term implications for both Quinn and Daniels. This incident has transformed from a locker room confrontation into a league-wide talking point, highlighting the delicate balance between authority, talent management, and public perception in the high-stakes world of professional football, and keeping everyone guessing about what comes next. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.